Last week, consumers in 16 places in Bengaluru could shop for grocery and restaurant takeaways through the government's Open Network for Digital Commerce, or the ONDC. Well, they could have done that through JioMart or Amazon or Big Basket. Why ONDC? Well, the relation of ONDC to an Amazon is exactly like the relation of, say, UPI to a Paytm or an Amazon Pay. Because UPI is free and easy, you don't need to pay for other services like, say, Paytm to use their network. Likewise, the government has designed the ONDC as an open network where a small kirana shop, say, may network with his buyer in the next building so that neither is at the mercy of big tech platforms. So, when is India going to get to shop, that is all of India, going to get to shop via the ONDC? I have with me the person who's actually implementing it, T Koshy, the CEO of ONDC, Suresh Sethi, Managing Director and CEO of Protean e-Government Technologies, and Sanjeev Kumar, co-founder and CEO of Spice Money. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Well, first up, Mr. Koshy, if you can give us some numbers. It's a week since you are live in Bangalore in 16 places. How many transactions have been done? What's the total value? What's the total number of merchants?
See, the way what we have done for Bangalore is that we have made it open to any buyer to come and place an order for grocery and food items from the merchants available on the network. We have about 6 buyer platforms and 12 seller platforms and 3 logistics platforms already live, with today about 500 odd merchants that is there. And we have now announced to the public, and gradually, as to be very honest, on a day probably about 100 plus transactions are taking place, some days more, and then people are just trying to figure out. The whole idea of this beta testing is enable people to come and test it out and give us feedback on what are the challenges that is being faced. And in the coming week, we have first 1 week we gave all the the buyer platform and seller platforms to get used to this new processes, and coming week we plan to have some larger outreach, and with that we expect the numbers to sort of go on more and more to get.
Okay, let me get Sanjeev Kumar in. Sanjeev Kumar, your Spice Money is, I guess, involved as a partner in ONDC. Have you all encountered any glitches? Has it been as smooth as it would be if you were, financing some other platform?
So, hi, Lata. So, Lata, we are right now we are a buyer app integrated with ONDC, and it's early days. Users our network has started to use the app and the platform. We're getting orders, but again, like I tell you, like I'm saying, this is too early days. This is just more about testing. People are discovering the platform, and the categories are only 2 right now: groceries and F&B. So I think this is only going to pick up with time, as and when more people get used to it, more people start to test this more and more. So that's our experience today. But I think the experience of onboarding with ONDC as a buyer app has been phenomenal, very proactive and very forthcoming. So we've had some really good experiences so far.
Mr. Koshy, let me come back to you. Did you encounter any glitches? Were these 100 transactions smooth?
See, if you look at the transaction has 2 parts. One is the technology part, other is the process part. Technology part's been going pretty smooth, working as expected. And in the process side, like as you would have appreciated, Lata, it's like different merchants, big and small. And they're all getting used to the idea of responding. In fact, many, at least 20-30% of these merchants have never done online transaction at all. So it's about, and then again, as Sanjeev pointed out, the number of transactions for a merchant is only few in a day because it's just starting. So they have to get used to the idea of responding fast, to make sure that fulfillment happens as committed by them and so on and so forth. It's essentially creating a discipline of responding fast is the kind of challenges that we are facing. So we know that we are helping to the merchants, etc., to build up good checklist and respond.
So these merchants have hitherto not been selling on any Big Basket or Amazon. This is the first time they are on a platform.
Many 30-40% of them are like that. Some of them have done some kind of transactions in a limited fashion.
Okay.
So we are getting used to. So we are giving them the checklist. We are also processing, educating them.
Okay.
So this is the journey that we'll have to go through together.
So when do you expect you will be able to cover Bangalore itself?
No, what we plan to do is see, as we explained to you, we're given grocery and food, which are essentially hyper-local. Which means more and more merchants have to be there. You can order food from Chandigarh and get it delivered in there. So we are actively working with the various seller platforms. As of today, we have 12 seller platforms. Another 18 of them are advanced stages of integration. For example, let's say that when somebody like, with a large number of sellers come on board, suddenly you will see more and more places getting visible.
Okay.
And we are also adding more domains. Today we have grocery and food, and we are also adding fashion, home decor, beauty products, electronics, and so on and so forth. You'll see in the next couple of months all of them getting added.
Oh, got that. Okay, Suresh, Sethi, you have kind of been there, done that. You have been with open platforms like the NSDL, etc. The big problem I would have as a consumer is, whom do I blame? I mean, who takes my complaints? For instance, in Amazon or Jio, I have shopped crazily and returned goods like almost 60% of the time, and it's taken. I'm not, there is a call center. I actually haven't used them. Here, whom would you blame? Whom would I go to?
So I think, Lata, ultimately what you're driving towards is you need to have very strong network policies. So as the market participants, as we call them, the buyers and the sellers, when they are engaging with an open network like this, which is not platform centric in nature, so you don't have a platform owner end to end where the buyers and sellers are sitting on the same application, a strong governance has to be enabled, which means that on one side, the sellers enter into some very clearly and well-defined agreements with the network. Likewise, the buyer applications need to enter into very well-defined agreements. And largely the play would be also ensuring that there is technology and digital at play to enable the underlying ecosystem of very clearly showing the state of the orders, the delivery, the payment and settlements processes have to be embedded in that. And likewise, the current infrastructure of returns if you don't find the goods in order, if you want to do refunds, the chargeback mechanisms. So a lot of the current capabilities which are existing out there in overall systems and ecosystems, they are being embedded and brought into the ONDC ecosystem. And I think that is clearly an area of focus. And as you rightly said, it is important. It's not just about blame. It is also about building the trust into the ecosystem and to be sure that when I'm doing a transaction, I'm reasonably covered and I'm doing a safe and secure transaction. And that plays at the heart of it.
Mr. Koshy, how does it work? The same question. Whom do I complain to? How do you ensure that goods will be refunded when returned and funded without any leakages when a transaction goes through?
As Suresh explained to you, you as a buyer will go to the buyer platform. So to buy as well as to raise any issue. So the buyer platform also provides for the buyers to raise any issues, whether it is returned, whether it's clarification, and so on and so forth. And the way system is designed, it will immediately will move this request or clarification to the seller platform digitally, because that's how the whole thing is architectured. And the seller, when he gets a response, then he has all the compulsion to respond and take action, because today, the only thing that is sustainable for the seller is the kind of service that he can give. And the network-wide reputation that we are going to, we have already instituted, and it will be published soon once you have some transactions that are coming, will ensure that if he doesn't, behave the way that is expected, it will be a big challenge. So without going too much into detail, let me just highlight one point, that we have actually developed a very detailed documentation on the whole process of building trust in the network. And that has been published for public consultation in our website last week. And many people have started going through and giving it feedback. And you're all open to do that. And as of now, the whole checks and balances that has been explained in this consultative paper has been very well acknowledged by the people in the industry and the users.
Okay, no, but what is the short answer? If I return a good, is ONDC responsible for ensuring that my money is funded back? Is the particular platform through which I am going responsible? Who is the call center who picks up?
The call center who picks up is your buyer application, because you cannot be one central sitting on solving the whole problem from the country. The way it is designed, each buyer application is the entity which is responsible for responding to any issues raised by the buyer, and who in turn will give it to the relevant seller or logistics provider and so on and so forth.
Okay. So in that case, would it be that the Amazons and the Geos and the, big baskets come and become clients or become sellers, platforms in ONDC itself? That question after the break, and I think that's a very important question, so stay with us.